mañana en la que le das un poquito y yo no lo hace. Yo por eso así me tienen, porque I never told them about it, and that's gonna change. Porque ni que sí, ni que sí le digas que sí, pero no te mueve adelante tampoco.
No.
Like, they don't even, nobody even knows.
No. Y eso fue lo que yo por eso pausa.
Estás obligado. For me, it's good now because I don't miss it difference. In the yard, taking it all free.
No, sorry. She's on her way.
Good?
Yeah.
That was before. Because I've only been here for a year.
So yo estaba ahí y ese güey quería, me dice, hey,
So he wanted to go.
sí, so he wanted to take my shit. You can see him like, yeah, así que,
Lo que sí me preguntaron, I was over at the station San Jose for my review like 3 weeks ago. Y me tocó con Jimbo. He was asking me, like, because he's off weekends.
no, he worked in San
I don't care. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, es que también de eso se estira mucho. Está
And for me, the mentor, that's a very
Oh, she's coming now.
Al principio se me hacía bien raro, like, my whole year, I have to, like, deposit como 2 times. Yo
Sí,
dije,
yo también.
are we good?
Sí, yo también.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, especially you know, porque yo estoy también en el salsa, pero o sea, yo it's a lot.
Calling to see if you could roll my side, but it's not very easy. It's not
It is wrong.
0-1. See if you could roll on the press conference of that.
O sea, con los ojos cerrados, y cuesta como 4 años. Yo como que sabía lo que hacía.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I am here to announce charges in 2 different cases related to incidents that occurred late last week. The first is the stabbing that occurred in Chinatown on March 5th. I first want to extend my support to the family and to this victim who was stabbed, who I know is in the hospital trying to recover from very serious injuries. This was a horrific attack. of an innocent man waiting to cross the street in our city. And thankfully, to the work of the police department and eyewitnesses, San Francisco police were able to make an arrest in this case. We have now charged an individual, Jianfeng Wang, with attempted murder, causing great bodily injury to the victim. We also have special allegations of the use of a knife during that incident. Mr. Wang was arraigned this afternoon, and again, we have, of course, sought his detention given the extreme public safety risk that he presents. I know this was a horrific incident that so many people have seen online due to the surveillance video that captured it, and I do want to reassure the public that we do not believe there is an ongoing threat thanks to the apprehension of Mr. Wang, and that we will do everything in our power to ensure that there is accountability in this case so that we can continue to keep the public safe. The other case that I am here to announce charges in is related to the assault of the member of the mayor's security detail. We have filed charges today against two individuals. First, Tony Phillips, who has been charged with violation of Penal Code Section 69A, resisting an executive officer, as well as causing great bodily injury to that officer. We've also charged him alternatively with assault on a police officer, as well as contempt of a court order in violation of Penal Code Section 166A4, which was a stay-away order issued to Mr. Phillips for the very location that this incident happened previously. We've also charged a second individual, Abraham Simon, in connection with that same incident with a violation of Penal Code Section 148A1, which is resisting or obstructing a police officer, for the role that he played in this as well. There is a final count against Mr. Phillips for unauthorized lodging in violation of Penal Code Section 647E in connection to the incident excuse me, that occurred. We are seeking Mr. Phillips' detention in this case given the assaultive conduct that does present a public safety risk, as well as the fact that this is a gentleman that was in violation of a present court order at the time that this happened for that, again, location where this incident took place. We take very seriously our job to keep the public safe, and so I want to again reassure people that each and every day the lawyers in my office are going to court fighting to make sure that those who should remain in custody do, so that we can assure the public that things like this will not continue to happen. So I'm happy to answer any questions that people have.
About the Chinatown stabbing, I was wondering,
Hang on. Too many voices. We'll start on this side and work our way down.
the victim, or was it random? And is he being evaluated for mental health issues, drug issues, or anything like that?
What I can tell you is that we don't have any proof of a connection between the two individuals. It does appear that this was a random attack. Of course, we leave it to the defense to seek any evaluation of their client that they would like to. At this time, we have no information about his mental health condition or if one exists. Those are all things that will be evaluated over time. Certainly, the defense will do what it needs to assert whatever defenses that they believe are appropriate.
And was he local?
Mr. Wang, I do believe, is from San Francisco.
The second case that you mentioned involving the mayor, the Chronicle reported and others that there was a video showing, from what you can see in the video, that the officer seemed to have touched the defendant first. Is there any evidence that you could direct us to or explain showing that he wasn't defending himself, or maybe explain some of your thinking around the charges?
Right now, I can't get into the facts more than what can be seen in the video. Of course, as a part of any investigation, all victims, witnesses are interviewed. This is a fresh investigation, but of course, the members of the mayor's detail who were present were interviewed. There were words that were said in addition to the conduct that happened, and so at the time of arraignment, which should be tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 for these individuals, more will come out in court, but there was certainly a verbal exchange in addition to physical conduct that is seen on the video that, of course, precipitates different actions.
Even if those words were after the officer touched the other individual?
There was a great deal of conversation that occurred before that.
So I guess just to build on that, how would you respond to anyone who feels like maybe there's a self-defense claim here?
Anytime that we review a case in this office, we are looking at potential defenses before we make a charging decision. In this case, like any other assault case, one of the main things that we look at are any facts that would constitute a meritorious self-defense claim to be asserted. And so that is something that we took into account at the time of our review.
You had talked about it last week, how a charging decision will be made today, meaning they'll have their court appearances tomorrow. Is that the same for all three, or just Phillips and Simon?
Phillips and Simon will be arraigned tomorrow afternoon.
Quick question going back to the Chinatown stabbing. What is the condition of the victim, and does it look like this could go to homicide, or does it look like he's going to recover?
The victim sustained extremely serious injuries. Thankfully, he did at this point survive this attack and is still in the hospital facing a long journey of recovery. But at this point in time, we are hopeful, just as I'm sure the family is, that he will recover from this.
Can you, as far as defendant Phillips, could you talk a little bit about his criminal history? And there was a previous reporting about a homicide where no charges were filed. So did your office take that into account for this case? Is that completely separate and not something you consider? And then just any other info you have on his criminal history would help.
So at this time, I can't get into his criminal history. As you can imagine, that is not something that we make public in a press conference. But I will say that I have reviewed the details of that 2019 incident that was reviewed by the Gascon administration. At that time, they did not believe that they had sufficient evidence to rebut claims of self-defense, and so he was not charged with that crime. Just as I said a moment ago, anytime that we are dealing with any type of use of force situation where someone is accused of an assault or arrested for assaultive behavior or even homicide, we are taking into account any facts or evidence that would suggest self-defense was a part of the reason for the use of force. And so in that particular instance, the Gascon administration did not believe that they could move forward with charges.
Just to clarify, based on their belief that there was enough of a self-defense claim?
That the facts presented an issue with that, yes.
Does Mr. Wang have any priors?
At this time, again, that is not something that we go into in a setting like this. Of course, as a part of any court record, that type of information can be obtained.
You said he was local. Is he a Chinatown resident?
I am not clear on where specifically he lives.
What about as far as Mr. Phillips? Do you know where he lives? Is he part of the homeless community?
My understanding is that Mr. Phillips spent quite a bit of time at the intersection where this occurred. And that is why we have, again, we have a present charge for illegal lodging at this point.
And the stay away order violation,
Correct.
right? Could you tell us a little bit about what that order stems from?
It's a court order. What I can say publicly right now is that there was a pending court order that required him to stay 150 yards away from that location that he was in violation of at the time of this incident.
Just to close it, can you say why the court issued that court order?
Not at this time. You will have to attend his arraignment to find out more.
And Wang is not going to be arraigned tomorrow?
His arraignment was supposed to be today, but it's my understanding now that it was continued to tomorrow. But he is being held in custody.
Did you say there was a connection between the two suspects in the mayor's security detail case?
They were together at the time that the incident occurred. I don't have more information about any connection between them other than the fact that they were both in that location, seemed to know each other based on the video. And at some point, Mr. Simon steps in to do what it appears is to help Mr. Phillips in a manner that now warrants us charging him with resisting or obstructing a police officer.
I believe you mentioned your office will move to have him remain in custody. Is that right, first of all, Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Could you explain a little bit, why that doesn't happen in every case, but in this case, what's your thought process there?
We are assessing in each case whether we believe someone presents a public safety risk. This is an individual who was requested by a police officer to do something and forcefully resisted that police officer at the time and engaged in assaultive conduct. This is a person who also was in violation of a court order not to be in that location. And so from our vantage point, this is somebody who presents not only a risk to the public, but also a risk to law enforcement should they attempt to address him in necessary manners, including should he violate that stay away order again. So we have significant concerns about what he is willing to do when approached.
You can't say what he was instructed to do by the officer, or can you?
That is not a part of the public record right now, so no, you would have to attend his arraignment.
The portion of the video where it appears that Lurie's bodyguard shoved, I guess, the suspect, do we have any more information on that specific part of the incident and why that may have occurred?
So again, I'm legally bound that I am not to discuss facts of a case until they come into the public record. So you guys will have to attend the arraignment tomorrow to hear the arguments for his detention, in which normally what happens is more facts do come to light at that time. All I can say at this point is there was a robust exchange between individuals as that incident progressed. Prior to and even after, there were physical manifestations of it.
You're not charging him with the 422, which is the threats?
Criminal threats.
That's not
No.
included in the charge?
That is not.
Tell me why, just a little bit. I'm thinking that's a usual in a case like this where somebody might be coming towards somebody saying something.
So actually PC 69 includes threatening behavior. So technically we have charged a violation of the penal code that encompasses what would be a criminal threat that happens to a police officer.
And the elements of that charge, do they include walking towards another? I can look it up myself, but since I got you here earlier.
Walking towards someone would not be considered criminal behavior. We do that each and every day. Walking towards someone after you have made a threat could. Everything is, subjective based on what happens in a particular scenario. What I'm trying to express is that this is a penal code section that has several different ways that it can be satisfied when you're talking about proving the elements, one of which includes threats to a police officer.
Last question?
You mentioned several people were interviewed, including the mayor's detail, or members of it. But could you talk about whether the mayor was interviewed as well, given that video shows he was at the scene?
What I will say is, as a part of any investigation, we interview as many eyewitnesses as we can.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.